Ladies and gentlemen, step right up and watch us make this money disappear. Welcome to another episode of Football Clowns Anonymous. This is a podcast run by and for NFL football fans. We have set out to create a fan community for people who enjoy often questionable takes, analysis, and predictions for all things surrounding the NFL, which we love so much, of course. Our show is coming to you on YouTube and Spotify. You can send us an email, footballclownsanonymous@gmail.com, if you'd like to reach out to us. And by we, of course, I mean myself, Ren Smith, and my co-host, joining us from Buffalo, New York, the one and only Kurtis Pinkney. How you doing, sir?
How you doing, man?
Hey, Jinx.
I'm good. How are you doing? We're on baby watch.
We are on baby watch. Should I be in my basement right now talking about the NFL, or should I be like, I don't know, putting together a bassinet or something like that? To be honest with you, there's nothing left that's got to get done. For full context, my wife is due to have a baby tomorrow, literally tomorrow. We have been ready for about 2 months logistically, and I just asked her earlier today, like, are we ready for this? And she's like, please, yes. And I was like, no, that's not what I mean. Are we like ready to parent too at the same time? She's like, there's no way
go
to be
through
ready
the
for
whole
that.
newborn
did
stage
you learn nothing
all
from
over
the first
again.
one? I was like,
yeah.
You got me. So like, what?
Yeah.
If there's something logistically to do, I get it, but I think other than that, it's like, how can I really do more right now?
No, you just got to rip off the Band-Aid and eat the L's that are about to be coming your way.
Absolutely. It was famously you proclaimed that it was the year of the dog, and I think that ends for me the moment the baby is born, probably.
Yeah, you're gonna be a sad puppy after that baby gets here. Mercifully, you guys have a very a nice first one. I don't know how to phrase that better. A well-behaved, mild-mannered, a good kid. He's a good kid.
For sure.
And I think that will very much make your life easier. I will also knock on wood, because he is also...
I will do the same.
I
appreciate it.
He's not 2 years old yet, so there is very much a lot of room for the terrible twos to
derail everything.
Derail everything. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
We'll see.
Speaking of things that we were not necessarily having on our bingo card, my dynasty fantasy team, finally the clouds have parted, and the dynasty gods have shineth down upon me for the first time with a 4-1 start and a 20-point projection next week advantage, and with an opportunity to go 5-1. I'm like 9th in points for, and I am tied for first in the league. Tell me that I'm, I don't know. I want to say I have a good team, but I don't even know if that's true.
I feel like you do. I didn't realize you were 9th in points for, which puts a little bit of water onto my fire that I was about to come with. But you're 4-1, sir. And that's all that fucking matters.
I would say this. I am 9th in points for. I have increased my scoring every week. So that is helpful.
Think we should take just a quick moment. We got to talk to your league mates.
Oh, okay.
We got to talk to your league mates, because I remember there was a podcast episode that was aired a year or two ago. When did that trade go down? Was it a year? Was it last year?
Which trade are we talking about?
The trade, the trade that fully indoctrinated me as your shadow GM.
I see. The Justin Herbert trade.
Yes. So Mr. Ren Smith here had Justin Herbert on his dynasty team. I said, Ren, trade him. I looked at him. I was like, yo, come over to the dark side, bro. That boy's not even nice.
I lied.
I told him,
agree at face value. Yeah. I can't agree with you.
Yeah. So I told him, I was like, Ren, Justin Herbert, fantastic NFL football quarterback. Justin Herbert, the fantasy quarterback, I could take it or leave it myself. And I don't remember if you offered the trade or if somebody offered that to you, but basically there was a Herbert for Dak Prescott little swaparoo, and Ren also got some other pieces to improve the quality of his team. He got a little Jalen Warren action. I think he got a pick that he flipped into David Njoku or something like that. The skinny of it is he turned Justin Herbert into what is now a playoff caliber team. And your league mates went on a podcast and mocked you. They said, how could you? How dare you trade Justin Herbert for Dak Prescott? And I said, Ren, you hold fast, sir, because I know Curtis, the Oracle, knows that Dak Prescott is a top 5 fantasy quarterback when healthy. And every year that he's been healthy, what has Dak Prescott been for you, Ren?
He's been sensational, but that's
so,
only been...
So you got yourself an upgrade at quarterback plus some, and you were mocked. You were ridiculed. You know what? I want those folks to go on air, and I want a public apology to the owner of I don't even know what you call your team, but some goofy Lord of the Ring reference.
It very much is.
And to the Shadow GM behind it.
I would like to, I appreciate where you're coming from on this. All of those Herbert offers came from me essentially putting Herbert on the trade block and saying, everybody send me your offer and I will.
That's right. I remember that.
I got like 6 offers for him. I threw 3 of them in the garbage. I tried to squeeze as much as I could out of the other 3 basically. And then I ended up going for what I thought was to your point, a fantasy swap, or basically a fantasy swap in terms of quarterback quality. Admittedly, Dak is a few years older,
100%.
so that doesn't help me. That's the only downside, but quarterbacks can play a lot longer than other positions can. So, I mean, now it looks like at this point from a fantasy perspective that it was a good trade, especially with Warren emerging. He's hurt at the moment, so or he was hurt.
Hopefully
so,
coming back this week.
Yeah. But first couple weeks he looked pretty good for the Steelers, the Aaron Rodgers Steelers. So we'll see what happens. But it's a good flip. And I have to also throw out one other thing too that was ridiculed. There have been a lot of trades that are worth ridiculing, to be fair, and I think every person in the Dynasty League has trades they're proud of and trades they're not proud of. All of us have that.
Yes.
Trading away.
We gotta toot our horn when we can, sir. This is the victory lap that.
Oh no, I agree with that. One other trade. We're gonna throw all the ones I don't like in the garbage for the moment. One other one I traded.
We just ignore those.
This would be of broad interest, from a dynasty fantasy standpoint. I traded away Isaiah Pacheco for Javonte Williams and a 3rd-round pick, and I don't remember who I took with the 3rd-round pick, but that was 2 years ago, and that has paid off. Javonte Williams is RB3 right now in the NFL. And has become the bell cow for Dallas, and so I don't know if I would say I wouldn't necessarily toot my own horn to the point that I expected this from him necessarily, but the fact that the Chiefs would bring somebody else in to eat away at Pacheco's touches, and the fact that Javonte Williams was still very young and had the opportunity to produce, I thought it would be for the Broncos. But they were a mess. So anyway, I'm really happy with how that one panned out too. A couple years later, and that is in no small part why I am where I am as well.
Yeah, I mean to that point, like obviously I'm having a little fun and victory lapping a little bit for you, but that Pacheco for Williams trade looked pretty shitty like last year or the year before.
That's fair.
It looked awful, and all of a sudden you're a genius. So it's just the way that it's just the way that football goes.
That's how it goes. I traded away James Cook when he was a scrub, and I got Ramondre Stevenson, who was a dog. And I had to give away a 1st-round pick. Who won that trade? So let's not talk about that trade. So but speaking of trades, we have some breaking news in the NFL that just yesterday or maybe the day before.
I think it was yesterday.
The Bengals are benching Jake Browning and traded for Goat Flacco from the Browns. And now their quarterback, the Bengals quarterback this year, is going to be Joe Flacco. How are we feeling about this, and what are we thinking about the Bengals?
The fantasy manager in me, the initial reaction was, yay, the fantasy assets are saved. But when I stepped back for about 3 seconds and thought about it, and I was like, shit, this might be worse? Question mark? Like, I don't really know how to feel about it. Like, Joe Flacco is old as shit, man. Like, the primary issue with the Bengals right now is that offensive line is just an open faucet. Like there is no stopping anything, period. Like, Jake Browning's a young man. He can kind of sort of run away from things. Joe Flacco is 40 years old.
Yep.
He's got gray in his face.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't move, bro. Like,
the Bengals defense is not going to do that team any favors either. They're putting the offense and Jake Browning in a bad situation, or a lot of bad situations also, just by being bad themselves.
Yeah. So, let's be fair. Jake Browning has looked absolutely horrendous the past few weeks. Like,
considering
defensive,
the way Considering the way he
So
looked, it's
yeah,
hard to not think that Joe Flacco will be a small upgrade. But I tend to agree that like just acting like the assets are saved, or Jamar Chase is suddenly going to go back to
yeah,
not the peak form that he has when Burrow's there.
yeah. I it feels like it was a move to pretend like you're trying in the season. I it Jameis was right there, man.
I
We could
know.
have
I was
had the
going to say
Jameis to Chase and
that's what we got
Higgins.
robbed of. We got robbed of famous Jameis with T
I
Higgins and Jamar Chase.
It would have been so beautiful. Like the NFL product, who knows how that would have looked or turned out, but the fantasy product would have been just glorious. And
Yeah,
and all the option and the opportunities to hear Jameis get on camera and say some just goofy inspirational quote, robbed.
I
Like
know.
it just it was a little sad.
It's a long season. It's a long season still. If Joe Flacco comes in and looks as bad as Browning, they didn't spend anything to get him. It was like a swap for a sixth and a seventh round pick or
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, they didn't spend any capital really hardly at all to get him. But yeah, you're
Right.
like you said, they're trying to save their season, but I'm not sure that this is the way to do it. I don't know. You're continuing to waste your dog receivers basically in their prime, and it's
That you just paid a
crazy
lot of
after
money.
last year. Exactly. And after last
Yeah.
year and the sort of disappointment that you have and then missing the playoffs and getting off to that slow start that killed them in the end, and now it's like they're back, they're ready, they're healthy. They played their starters in the preseason more because they're like trying to
Mm-hmm.
hit the ground running, and
Started
that
two
game
and
against the
zero.
Browns that they should have lost. Like,
Yeah.
good for you guys. It's, oh man,
Yeah.
absolutely wild. So we'll see what happens with that. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Um.
also would
Yeah.
like to, this does not belong in the Clown of the Week segment, but there's one other thing I'd like to talk about really quick. I was just scrolling DraftKings as, we get ready for these episodes and looking at all the different lines that are available, touchdown scorers, what are the spreads at, all that fun stuff. Took a peek at the Super Bowl odds. Curtis, can you explain to me why the Chiefs and the Eagles currently have the same Super Bowl odds? Can you explain that to me?
No, I cannot. And I'm looking at that right now. Plus 900 for both, huh?
Plus 900 for both. And the Eagles were before the season. I think they were 6-1 plus 600, and so
Yeah.
they go 4-1, and they lose one game that could have gone either way against the Broncos. Didn't go their way. Finally, they lose a game, um, and their odds are worse. They're 4-1. Their odds are worse than they were to start the season. I am confused. The Chiefs, meanwhile, are 2-3, and don't necessarily look the part. They started to look the part a little more, but I come on, like what am I missing here?
So I'm looking at the division standings for the AFC West. Chargers and Broncos are both sitting at 3-2. Chiefs are at 2-3.
Yep.
The Chargers are falling apart at the seams. We'll be getting to them in a few minutes here. The Broncos, they look okay, but I don't, with Bo Nix at the helm, he hasn't. I don't think anybody's gonna, say that he's making a massive leap in his year two, right? Um, the Chiefs are starting to gain some momentum. Patrick Mahomes is figuring it out, like right, like they have looked like a competent offense the past couple games, and we are very quick to forget that last year it was pretty much the same show, like a who's who of who the hell are you on that offense, and an old ass Travis Kelce at tight end, and the GOAT at quarterback, and they almost won the Super Bowl. Like, or no, they went to the Super Bowl. They didn't almost win it, but they went to the Super Bowl. The Eagles, on the other hand, it's an ugly 4-1. It's similar to a couple of years ago when they went like 7-0 and then just fell apart at the seams on the back half of the season. Feels really similar to that. That is the only logic that I could try and throw out here.
I hear all those points. To me, just
Yeah,
looking at this, it doesn't. I can't wrap my head around how a team that has two extra wins, and the Eagles are still the odds-on favorite to win the NFC East, too. So to your point about like who's the favorite to win these, I get it. The Chargers are falling apart. Who in the NFC East is going to challenge the Eagles probably for the division throne by the end of the season? Maybe
the
Dallas, but
Cowboys for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe. I I mean, I guess the Commander's good too, but I don't know. Anyway, it's one of those things that I just wanted to bring it up.
I lost your run.
Oh, apologies, everyone. We're back, and maybe we'll do our best to edit that section out. We were talking about.
We're gonna reserve that spot for a commercial.
That's
An
perfect.
ad.
That's perfect
About,
for all of
about
our
about a 4-minute ad
for
read.
all of our ad revenue. Exactly. Well, let's move on. Actually,
That's
this
right.
is a good segue to move on. Last week we decided our picks have not been working. We're going to get cute and try to sit here and apply logic and reason to each one of the spreads individually and decide, cherry pick, which one do we want, which one do we not want, all that fun stuff. And we would have gone 6-2 if we had auto played, but instead we were getting cute and decided not to auto play. So I lost a couple of games or a couple of opportunities. Like, for example, laying 10.5 points with the Lions. Could have made money on that, but we were like, oh, we can't do that. It's in Cincy, blah, blah, blah. So regardless, we might be trustworthy again, and we should continue to view ourselves with that lens that we would have done well last week if we had just closed our eyes and fired away. But I'll say that I went 7-7 individually. Kurtis went 9-5 individually. But the group picks is 6-2. That's been the whole thesis argument behind this whole thing. Is like when we're really like feeling the same about something, we add even more value than individually. So it took us till week 5 to actually, have that be a thing.
I'm gonna jump ahead here.
Please.
How are we so bad at pick'em?
Great question. I do not understand. No clue.
I'm looking at this. You and I are 8th and 10th. We have 11 people in this pick'em league. The person in 11 is not participating. Yeah. That means you are in last. I am third to last.
Yep. I don't get it. Maybe it's because we do a show and we don't just like we let these shows cloud our judgment ahead of time, but I don't know. I am.
You are 39 and 38.
I am. That's what I was going to say. I am one game above 500 on the money line. On the spreads, you could forgive me. On the money line, I'm that bad. Absolutely crazy.
That's pretty awful.
What's funny about it too is I was in despair this week because finally there was some of these big upsets, and the first few weeks I'm picking these upsets and they're just not happening. And now I'm like, I'm gonna bunker in, play it safe. That's when the upsets happen. So like, I should have just stayed true to myself. I could have won this week. If I had actually had the balls to take the Patriots. Like,
yeah.
Because I was thinking they're live and I didn't do it. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that. I suck.
Just awful place to be in.
It is. We were not going to be winning. The good news is the weekly payout is still a possibility. However, shout out to our first repeat week winner, my boy Gabe Madsen, and fun fact, it is his birthday today. So happy birthday, Gabe. And happy birthday, Gabe. And congratulations on being the first one to take a week lead in the weekly payout competition. And Gabe is now tied with Ashley Flyberg from that we gave a shout out to last week. They are now tied for the lead in the season-long payout as well. So good job to all involved. Nice. Everyone but us, basically. Great work.
Yeah, we should probably quit, but I don't think we can. I don't know if that's good form.
It's not good form. We gotta stick with it.
It's demoralizing, is what it is. Yeah.
It's tough to.
You know what else is demoralizing? Is I run a fantasy league. I am 1-4 in that fantasy league. I'm going up against my co-host in that fantasy league.
Let's fucking go.
Pretty much every week, all the way up until this point, I have been getting fucking boat raced. Like, it's really not even been competitive. Like, folks are putting up like 160 points on me, and I'm struggling to get 100.
I didn't realize this was a therapy session now, but I guess that's kind of why we made this, isn't it?
And this motherfucker here has got Jonathan Taylor, Javonte Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jalen Waddle, Marvin Harrison, J.K. Dobbins, the Pittsburgh defense against Cleveland.
That was a free agency ad. So with that one, my response is as simple as just do better, sir. But The
I mean,
team is
I
the
like the
team is full
Cleveland
of the
defense
team
against
is full of
Pittsburgh myself,
dogs.
but
It's been very fun.
I just
I would go back in
I
time and
just
say it's not even just the last few weeks you've been getting boat raced. It is remarkable to me how year in and year out you are just not that great in this league. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I this is the only league that I struggle in. In every other league, I am pretty much a lock to make the over the history would suggest that I'm damn near guaranteed to make the playoffs in just about every league except for this
It's
one.
crazy.
And my record in every other league, like I'm 4-1. I got the 1 seed in my big money league. I got the what am I in this fucking league? I'm the 2 seed at 4-1
Crazy.
in this other league. The fucking what seed am I here? The where am I at? The 4 seed. But I'm pretty just like, and I'm a healthy 4 seed. Like I have a pretty healthy amount of confidence in this team. I don't get it, bro. I really like it's frustrating. And what's crazy is like y'all are not nice at this shit, bro. Like the folks in my league are scrubs. I started this league up to practice on y'all.
I would tend to
practice
disagree.
drafting.
You made a mistake, sir. We are not
fuck,
bad
man?
at fantasy football because history would suggest that we're better than you at it. However, that's just one league. I get it. Yeah, it is kind of
Devastating.
interesting. I was actually thinking like the year in and year out thing doesn't make any sense, but I'm thinking about it like some of the we talked about this last week. Some of these teams that just have these legacy, real NFL teams that have legacies of failure from year in and year out, and it kind of I don't know. It feels like that, except
This is one of those
the
teams.
difference is
It
that
really
like
does.
in redraft fantasy, you redraft a new team every year, and so it makes it more wild. But it does reminiscent of like we can just expect the Giants to be bad, for example. It's just one of those things. But plenty of
You know what?
Go ahead.
Speaking of expecting teams to be bad, I'm going to kick us off in reverse order on this
Please.
list here. Do we just expect the Ravens to be bad until further notice?
Yes.
At a minimum, this next week they're getting fucked up. I mean, they're spoiler alert. They're playing the Rams. I'm gonna go ahead and take a wild guess and suggest that you probably pick the Rams to win by a landslide.
Lamar Jackson is not playing. I mean, so we expect that it depends. Lamar Jackson is expected to not play. If that is the case, then
He's not playing in this game.
The Texans,
ain't no way he's playing.
The Ravens are so bad, they just healed the Texans from the dead. Like the Texans, one of the like worst offensive teams the first couple weeks, just looked like the rookie year CJ Stroud Texans. 44 points. So yes, we should expect the Ravens to continue to be bad at least until Lamar's back, and if not, maybe even longer
But
than that.
even when Lamar was playing, like Lamar was here for the first few games, they're 1-4.
That defense is leaving them out to dry, I think.
Not great. Yeah,
And Derrick
it's
Henry
not
with
great.
a couple of clutch fumbles.
Yeah, I was gonna say Derrick Henry has not been looking like himself either.
Not at all.
Yeah,
Teams, the Ravens are in big trouble because they're going to lose this week without Lamar Jackson. Then they go on a bye, and you're not coming back from this.
I mean, you might as well go ahead and pack it in for the season. Like at 1-5, there's no way, bro. Like not even like no way.
The Steelers are running away with that division. Yeah. It's been pretty crazy. Other teams that are in trouble due to I guess due to injuries. I'll just say it. Keep the segue alive. The Los Angeles Chargers started out 3-0, looking amazing, and they're in trouble. The offensive line injuries that they have with Joe Alt being down. I don't actually know how long he's out for, but they are.
I'm not sure either.
They're reeling. They just had a big home loss to the Commanders, and the week before they lost to the Giants, who then went on to lose to the Saints, which adds an extra question mark to these Chargers right now.
It feels very similar to the Bengals. Just the quarterback is still healthy.
Mm-hmm. Interesting parallel.
It's kind of crazy to think about, and I keep seeing all over social media the number of hits Justin Herbert's taken over the course of his career, and they compare it to the Joe Burrows, and the scary one that I saw was somebody compared it to the number of hits Andrew Luck took up to this point when Andrew Luck was still playing, and it was like 100 less or something like that. And we all know Luck retired because he got the shit kicked out of him behind an awful offensive line. I would hate to see that happen to Herbert because, when that offense is clicking, it's a lot of fun to watch. But, oh, man. I mean, we mentioned it up top when we were talking about the Chiefs. I don't really get a lot of warm fuzzies from the Chargers, which kind of sucks because I definitely was thinking we were going to run away with that division winner pick, but I don't know anymore.
No, I'm thinking that I should have cashed out on the Chargers and left the Broncos alive, with the option of still winning, and I didn't because, for full disclosure, I preseason put $20 each on the Broncos and the Chargers individually to win the division. Both of them pay out at plus 300, and just basically like whatever happens if the Chiefs don't win the division, and it's not the Raiders, which we're no longer worried about them, so we're good there.
No.
But that was a double cash out after the Chiefs were 0-2 and the Chargers were 3-0. It was a double your money cash out. And I didn't take it, and I probably should have, because now I'm not so sure that the Chargers are going to win the AFC West. But meanwhile, the Broncos just went on the road and beat Philly on a short week, and now they get the Jets next week in London. Like, come on.
Yeah.
This is, they might be the ones to run away with it. So we'll kind of see how that plays out, but I'm kind of thinking I should have hit that cash out button on that one.
And since we're talking about bringing teams back down to earth, Bills and Eagles both took their first L's.
They did.
Sad day in the Pinkney household.
As I was going to say, those are your two favorite teams. We already touched on the Eagles a little bit and how we're maybe you have some concerns there. Are you concerned at all about the Bills after the?
No,
I'm not either.
No. Not even a little bit. Yeah, for whatever reason, those division games in the AFC East, the Bills play down to their competition or the other opponents play up. I can't tell. But this happened, was it last year or the year before? The Bills were destroying teams throughout the league, and then they played the Patriots and lost like 9-6 or something stupid like that.
Right.
It was just like,
to our point.
To
our point, we've talked about on this show how like the Bills just have one or two of those games every year that they're just like, what are you doing? And they still didn't look. I mean, they didn't look awful, but it was just a really sloppy game by both teams, and one of them came out on top. And then,
the first quarter was disgusting.
Oh, it was horrible. And the that's just to our point of like avoiding these division games. I would say some of these divisions, nobody should be favored in these games, really. I mean, I know there's a better team, but nobody should really truly be favored. And I'll say that's one bet that I placed and won and took advantage of is the Patriots plus 8.5. That line, I don't care how good the Bills have been, that line was not in the right spot. Those are always close games.
No.
Bills should have won, but not by 10, not by 15, whatever it is. So yeah. And another bet that was profitable for me, which was very scary until late, Duval, baby. Jags plus 3.5 with coupled on top of the fact that I have the Chiefs under and those Charger Bronco AFC West winner bets, and the fact that I have the Jags over 7.5, and the fact that I played Jags 3.5 in this game. After how bad we've been doing, I was on cloud 9 after this game. Now I know they pulled the rabbit out of the hat, did the Jags. Happy birthday, Trevor Lawrence on Monday. Pulled the rabbit out of the hat and won on some late game heroics. But man, that was fun. Oh man, that was awesome.
It was actually a wildly entertaining game. Travis Kelce turned back the clock a little bit. I know I was just talking shit on him being old, but he had himself a good game. Trevor Lawrence was, I don't even really know how to describe that game, but he was having himself a game. It was wildly entertaining in the fourth quarter when the Chiefs were marching and they zoomed in on Trevor Lawrence picking his nose on the sidelines, only for him to come into the game and then win on that fucking just clown show of a final play. It was a really fun game. And
man.
Brian Thomas got it going a little bit.
Great callback to the nose picking, but and then just comes in and is Himothy. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yes, what a game. It was really fun to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Like I said, very profitable, and it could have gone anyway. There's a path that Trevor Lawrence had 3 rushing touchdowns in that game. He was 3 inches away from having one at the very beginning of the game on fourth and goal.
That might have been like 3 millimeters. That was incredibly close.
Yeah, if they had called it a touchdown on the field, they might have been able to say stands on it either way. That's
I think so.
Yeah. Crazy. Any other last thoughts on the excitement in Week 5 before we move on to our favorite segment?
Uh, I don't think so. I mean, uh, are we on Super Bowl watch with the Colts?
Oh my gosh. Good teams beat the shit out of bad teams, and the Colts beat the shit out of the Raiders. That I You can't ignore it anymore. Uh,
In demoralizing fashion.
they're
Just ran all over the fucking place. Jonathan Taylor had three. Amir Abdullah had one. I didn't even know Amir Abdullah was still playing. I was just like, oh, so we just pulling people off the street to score touchdowns on the Raiders today?
That is exactly right.
Just,
That is exactly right. Are we? Because they're like, I mean, they got to be a lock to win the AFC South at this point, and not a lock,
because they have the Jaguars to
but... Oh
contend
no,
with.
you're right. That's true. Yeah, you're right. They're 4-1 somehow, even though they've been kind of rocky at times. But that's a good point. That's a good point. We should be on Super Bowl watch. We should not expect them to win, but we should be on Super Bowl watch for them. Yes,
That's
Jones
fucking crazy.
Daniel Jones is a great rebirth story. He is. We all know this by now. I'm going to just say it out loud just so it's on the record. He is obviously the Sam Darnold of 2025.
Yeah, without a doubt.
From the ashes.
Oh, it's pretty crazy. I am wildly curious to see how their season ends up.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean that they probably should be 5-0 at the end of at the end of next week. They got the Cardinals. You know, where's the schedule at? Let me pull this up real quick. Let's take a peek. Cardinals, Chargers, Titans, Steelers, Falcons, Chiefs, Texans. Bro, they're beating most of those teams, bro. Jaguars, Seahawks, Niners. I mean, the back half of their schedule is a little tough, but oh man, like the Cardinals are probably winning that. You know, the way the Chargers have been playing. Are we scared of that game? Titans, Steelers, Falcons. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
Those are all winnable games now. When you look at, I mean, they're not going to win them all, but they're all winnable. Speaking of, you mentioned the Colts opponent this week. I would like to move into my favorite segment.
Here we go.
This is our favorite segment, I should say. And this is the wardrobe, those of you watching us on YouTube. Those of you watching us on Spotify, we have just put on the clown costumes that Kurtis mailed to us after our horrendous Week 4. But I'm now using it for the Clown of the Week segment. And I would like to just give a nice shout out to one of the worst losses I've ever seen in my entire life. So the Scholar was
this is easy.
The Scholar was hot trash last week. He had already missed his other 2 teaser legs. So I'm not mad from that standpoint. However, I decided on Sunday morning, you know what? Let's take a look here. Oh, I've got the Colts down to -1.5. I've got the Panthers up to +7.5. Let's pair them with the Cardinals -1.5. And this should work, right? Hit the first 2. Cardinals are up 21-6. Imari DiMarcado does. Every single team should have watched what A.D. Mitchell did the week before and said, don't fumble the ball because you're celebrating too early, switching hands too early. Cross the fucking goal line first. Instead, he doesn't. He drops the ball. They lose out on a touchdown. Still up 21-6. Fourth quarter, the Titans are down 9. Throws a pick. It gets registered as a pick. Dude can't get touched on the ground, can't just fall on the ball. He's got to keep rolling over. The ball squirts out of his hand when he's not being touched. It rolls into the end zone and the Titans recover it. Now you're down 2. And then you punt and you lose the game. How are you not killing that team? A Titans team on the road that had looked so horrible, that was 0-4 going into this game. And you had them by the balls. And you literally fumbled it away. One of the worst things I've ever seen. You cost me money, and you are my Clown of the Week, Arizona Cardinals, and you're going to get your ass kicked by Daniel Jones next week.
You said it's one of the worst losses you've ever seen. I think it's pretty safe to say for myself that is definitely the worst loss that I've seen in my football watching career. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it. Like that. Like the Titans did nothing to win that game. The Cardinals did everything to lose that game. And I'm going to use this to segue into my clown of the week. So we touched on the Cardinals. I mean, that was an obvious choice. I mean, that it's honestly an automatic choice. You know, DeMarcado cost his team the game in the most boneheaded way imaginable. How we continue to see that literally every year blows my mind.
Back-to-back weeks.
What you didn't mention is the Cardinals decided to follow that up with their head coach walking up to DeMarcado on the sideline, punching him in the chest, and getting handed a 6-figure L by the Arizona Cardinals as a result.
Missed that. Apologies.
He did. He got himself a nice $100,000 fine today from the Cardinals for that. We already touched on I'm running a league that I'm 1-4 in, and I'm just going to get abused in for the rest of the season. We touched on the Bengals bringing in Joe Flacco, old ass man, to try and run a offense behind an offensive line that Jesus himself couldn't operate behind. What we haven't mentioned yet, Mark Sanchez stabbing an old ass man and getting himself arrested before he's supposed to be broadcasting on Sunday. And even with all of these events that happened on Sunday, the clown of the week, I think, has to go to the Oracle himself. And why? How did the Oracle end up with clown of the week here? Let's go back to our picks last week. So we purposely avoided talking about a game last week, probably the most entertaining game of the week, Bucks and Seahawks. If we look at what the Oracle predicted for that game, I predicted a Seahawks victory. I don't think I should be let off the hook for betting against our Lord and Savior, Baker, future MVP of the 2025 season. I'm that motherfucker Mayfield. I made a mistake. That, you know what? I owe him a public apology.
Yes, you do.
For ever doubting him. I will not be picking against the Bucks until further notice. That team is fucking electric, bro. Baker Mayfield is, until further notice, my favorite player. The Bucks probably I might have to just pocket them in my back pocket for a favorite team until further notice. Fucking Emeka Egbuka is a dog. They don't have a handful of their stars. Their offensive line is just kind of sort of starting to get healthy. And Baker Mayfield is just out here going dime for dime with apparently Goat Darnold. His goatdom has not ceased, which is another thing we should probably be paying a little bit more attention to. But
yes,
it just, you know what? So I think even with all of that, me betting against the Buccaneers, I think that's earned me clown of the week. And I apologize to Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for ever doubting you guys after such a wonderful, wonderful display of offense that you put up on Sunday. Clown of the week to the Oracle.
I appreciate you for not letting yourself off the hook, and I do tend to agree. I would not personally myself elevate you to clown of the week status, but I appreciate the humility that you have to elevate yourself in that way. And we did talk about some injuries to the Bucks. As long as Baker Mayfield is on that team, they have a chance to win any week against anybody. Like, it is, they are so much fun.
Who's challenging him for MVP right now? Who's challenging him for MVP right now?
At the moment, nobody. Josh Allen just won it. Nobody on the Eagles is MVP. Nobody on the Pack. I mean, honestly, I'm going to say this out loud. I can't believe I'm saying this. Baker Mayfield should still be the favorite, but Daniel Jones could potentially challenge him. That maybe. Can you believe that I just said that? I would say, however, he should be comeback player of the year probably. He came back from sucking. Like
the dead, yeah.
As I said, from the ashes. But yes, you should feel shame for picking against the Bucks. As long as Baker's on that team, they have a legitimate chance to win every game. The Seahawks should never have been laying 3.5 in that game. Never. And I stayed away from it because I was afraid of the injuries. Again, should have played it because they're going to be in every single game that he plays.
I think
even with Bucky Irving hurt. Come on, that's just crazy.
I know.
Absolutely wild. Well, on to bigger and better things, and I'm going to get this hat off because it is not the most comfortable thing. But on to bigger and better things with the 2025 Week 6 where let's hey, let's make some money.
Let's do it. Let's start with the Eagles traveling to MetLife Stadium, taking on the Giants. Eagles favored by 7, over under 40.5. We both have the Eagles winning pretty healthily, or pretty handily.
Yep.
23-13 from Ren, 27-17 from myself. I'm going to be honest, I flirted with the idea of trying to pick this as an upset.
Yep.
I could not convince myself to do it. Even as bad as the Eagles offense has looked, the firepower they have, it's too much. And the injuries that the Giants are dealing with at receiver, Neighbors out, Slayton I think is going to be out. Tracy's coming back, but so what?
If this game moves to 7.5, I'll consider playing the Giants. However, gun to your head, what are the Giants right now? Are they the Jacksonville Giants, excuse me? Are they the team that beat up on the Chargers in week 1, or are they the team that went down to New Orleans and literally fumbled, turned the ball over? I think I heard it was 5 straight possessions or something like that.
Yeah.
What are they? And I don't know. I don't think
Against that Eagles defense, I'm gonna go ahead and take the latter,
I agree.
but we shall certainly see.
I can't trust the Giants, even with
No.
Jackson Dart, until further notice. The Eagles,
No.
if there is such a thing as a good loss, it was probably that Broncos loss is not gonna. I don't think it's gonna spiral them or be the start of a spiral. I think it's an opportunity. Hey, wake up! You're not all that in a bag of chips necessarily, and they're gonna kick the shit.
No, I think they very much need this as a get-right game. And if it's not a get-right game, see all the arguments we were making about the Eagles Super Bowl odds kind of falling a little bit at 4-1. I think that, like we said, good teams beat the shit out of bad teams. The Eagles really need to beat the shit out of the Giants this week or tomorrow night.
I think they probably will, but we'll see.
I'm hoping
again,
so.
7.5. If it goes to 7.5, that's a lot of points. But I could see it landing on 7. That's why I'm nervous about it. Next up, this is our 3rd international game in a row. I love the early wake ups. I don't know about you, or not. Maybe not early wake up.
It's glorious.
It's like football earlier in the day.
Early start to the day. Yeah. Oh, it's the
let's
best.
Go.
I fucking love it.
We got toddlers. We aren't sleeping in for nothing. But as long as we're up, we might as well be watching football. The Denver Broncos,
100%.
fresh off their victory against the Eagles, are traveling to London to play the New York Jets. Broncos are favored by 7.5, and the over-under is 43.5, and we are both taking the Broncos. I am going to make it a little more of a healthy beatdown, 31-17. Kurtis has a little closer, 24-18. I will be on. Well, we'll get to this. We'll get to the scholar segment right now. But for me, I know it's an international game, and you've got extra kind of situational spot layers that go on top of all of that. These Jets look like garbage, and the Broncos just beat the Eagles. Maybe they are riding a little high on themselves, and that game could end up being a little close. But they are far and away the better team here, and should win this game.
Yeah, I agree. The only reason I have it as close as I do is, despite the Jets being as dog shit as they have been, their garbage time abilities are superior to any other team in the league. For some reason, in the fourth quarter, they have this uncanny ability to just throw up 2, maybe 3 touchdowns, and I am expecting a lot more of the same this week. Otherwise, I don't think the game will be as close as the score that I'm predicting.
Like a total yard standpoint might be a little more of a disparity, or like a time of possession or something like that.
Yeah. Time of possession. Yeah, the whole 9. Like, the calls for is Justin Fields the answer is probably going to be, that we're going to start hearing those after this game. All that fun stuff. All the good stuff.
Yep. I agree. Broncos roll in this game to me.
Yeah. Next game, Cleveland traveling to Pittsburgh, take on the Steelers. Significantly more interesting. Yes. Steelers favored by 5.5, over under of 37.5.
He's doing it. He is doing it.
I'm gonna keep doing this shit until it hits. Browns are taking a 16-15. Ren's got the Steelers 20-13. And I think I was looking at DK earlier, and I think the line has moved to 4.5 already. Actually,
Yeah, I think I looked and it was 5.5 currently, but I gotta check again. At 5.5, I know I picked it as a touchdown. Who should be laying that many points against this Browns defense? Like that seems like enough. Now the only thing I'll say in defense of the line is how much do we trust Dylan Gabriel? I mean, we only saw him for the one game. They had a legitimate chance to beat the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, whenever I bet on the Browns, I am not thinking about the offense. I am strictly thinking about Myles Garrett and that defense and the offense that they have to go against. And I have the same, old ass man at quarterback statue thoughts about Aaron Rodgers that I do with Joe Flacco. Like if his receivers aren't getting open, it's going to be a long day for him. And that's more or less where my head's at. And yeah, the line's still at 5.5. You're right, so I misspoke
as you're
there.
talking, I'm agreeing with you and preparing to fire on it because I don't want it to move again. Browns plus 5.5. I know I picked it as a touchdown. We got to play this. Like there's just no
yeah
way. So
yeah,
I love that. I love that defense. I don't necessarily think they're going to win the game, but also like AFC North slugfest in the trenches. And
just
when the point total is that low, like how can you not take the team who's getting points?
Anybody's
Come
game.
on. Yeah,
this anybody's
game. This will be fun. Next game, the Los Angeles Chargers are traveling to Miami to face the Dolphins. The Chargers are favored by 4.5 points on the road. Over under 44.5. And I have the wrong team here. I've thought about this since then. I think that the Chargers are the better team on paper. I don't like what I've seen from the Dolphins, but as I've looked at that line, Dolphins plus 4.5 is the correct side. There's no way. The Chargers look like ass since all of their offensive line injuries, and if they do win, it'll be a close game. So the Dolphins plus 4.5 is the right side. But just to get it all out there, I did originally project the Chargers to win 31-17. Kurtis has the Dolphins winning 20-17. Kurtis is smart and says we never trust the Chargers, and I agree. You cannot lay this number with the Chargers on the road the way they look. Period.
No, we stated this a couple weeks ago. We're not betting on the Chargers until they figure their shit out. And I made the statement that they're the Bengals with a healthy quarterback. That offensive line has not been doing Herbert any favors. Run game, with no Hampton in there, that's a giant question mark, which is I am kind of surprised the Chargers are favored by as much as they are with that running back injury. Their defense has been okay, but Miami's offense is still not terrible. With Darren Waller, rounding into form here, kind of having a nice little career revitalization going on. Jalen Waddle, as long as he's healthy, he's probably good for 80+ yards. Devon Achane is, he's all over the field, whether it's receptions or breaking off a 50-yard run randomly for whatever reason. I don't think it should be surprising if the Dolphins win. They had a rough start to their season, but this is still the same offense that just a year or two ago we were heralding as a revelation. Mike McDaniel's the wonder kid. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
With the exception that Tyreek is out, but other than that, I agree. I know he's old, and Jalen Waddle's happy to fill in. So yes,
yeah, exactly.
I know. No, I agree. I'm on the wrong side. Dolphins plus 4.5, and you know what? Just for the listeners, I already placed it. So
very, very nice. Yep. I'm proud of you. Next game, also weirdly in a really weird kind of way, kind of interesting. Yeah. Patriots traveling to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Patriots favored by 3.5. Over under 45.5. We both took the Patriots, but it's a pretty damn close game. Ren's got a 23-20. I got a 27-20. Those fucking Saints, man, they've been scrappy.
They have been.
They've been showing some life. They've been they're not the train wreck that we thought they were going to be. Basically, we thought they were going to be the Jets.
Yes.
Without the garbage time abilities.
Correct. We did.
They are better than the Jets.
Yes, they are.
They're better than.
They're better than a few teams.
Probably a third of the league.
A quarter.
I think they're a top 2/3. Okay, well I'll give you a quarter. I like a quarter. Yeah.
But I agree. There's plenty worse teams out there. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I don't hate playing the Saints plus 3.5 at home. I don't hate it. It's a tough one. The Patriots
I looked at
the
it.
Patriots
I looked at it, but
to me what it feels like is the Patriots probably should win this game, but that just almost feels like the right side to me. But if you don't want to play it, I'm fine with that. The Patriots did just beat the Bills last week, so I I get it. Just so you know, I may play this even if you don't, because the Saints have
yeah,
been that scrappy
I
team, and fresh off their first win, another home game. Meanwhile, the Patriots have to
yeah,
settle down after the Stephon Diggs revenge game and fly across, fly to a different place
yeah,
on a short week. So
yeah.
just think about it.
I hear what you're saying. I don't know what I need to see from the Saints to get me there. I I just don't think I'm quite all the way there yet.
I get it.
One thing that is probably holding me back. I heard this question on a different podcast, and I thought it was a great question, and I'm curious your opinion. What do you think it would take for the Saints? Like, let's say they end up with like a top 5, top 7 pick. What do you think Spencer Rattler would need to show for the Saints to not take a
Oh
quarterback?
my gosh.
Because he's not been playing
No,
bad.
he's not been playing bad. I think you got to win at least.
He looks
You don't even have to make the playoffs. I think you got to win. I think you got to win at least probably 6 or 7 games. Considering their preseason expectations, 6 or 7 games would be my thought. And I mean, and not look like garbage doing it. But if they're going to win those games, like he's going to continue to look at least as good as he does right now. I think you would
yeah.
then take a. I think you would then take a. You might take a shot at him, but I don't think they have to make the playoffs for them to consider giving him a legitimate chance at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I suspect that it'll probably not happen. If they've got a top pick, they'll opt for somebody with a higher ceiling maybe. But it was an interesting thought exercise. He's performed admirably. He'll probably get a shot with another team. I'm guessing.
He
But
might at this point.
yeah, I doubt at the very least a backup position for sure. I think he's earned that up to this
Yeah,
point.
I'm still shocked that
Um,
I'm still shocked that they decided that he's the answer, and but it's paid dividends relative to their expectation, I would say.
Yeah, and, we as football fans love to bust the balls of NFL coaches. You guys don't know what the fuck you're
Always.
doing. Blah blah blah. You might know
Give them,
something every once in a while.
give them their flowers on this one temporarily. I did
I
not
mean,
see it.
think about the rhetoric. Think about the rhetoric when Daniel Jones was named the starter. Well, the Colts are mailing it in.
I you I want to go back and scroll a long ways back into our text when that news dropped, and you were just like,
Oh,
how can they possibly how can you not feel good, or how do you feel good about this? It's like I anyway,
no,
like
I
if you're a Colts
I
fan.
I was pretty convinced Colts fans across the nation were on suicide watch for sure,
I How do you think they feel now?
bro. Walking on a cloud.
They are that stupid AD Mitchell goal line fumble probably away from being the last undefeated team in the NFL
Yeah.
right now. That's
They probably feel the opposite of this next team we're about to talk
They
about.
do.
Complete
The
opposite.
Baltimore Ravens
Yeah.
are fresh off of their ass whooping at the hands of the Houston Texans. Are home against the Los Angeles Rams. The Baltimore Ravens are getting 7.5 or underdogs by 7.5 points, and the over/under is 44.5. And oh my, we have the same exact score, 31-13. The Los Angeles Rams are about to punish the Lamar Jackson-less Baltimore Ravens, and they have not shown any. We already talked about this. They've not shown any signs of life on defense. The Rams have a bad taste in their mouth after losing to an injured 49ers team. They are going to kick the living shit out of this Baltimore Ravens team, unless Lamar Jackson's playing, and they probably will anyways, even if he is, because they have just not looked good.
If Lamar's playing, I'll give him another touchdown. But the way Matt Stafford and Puka and Devontae have been playing, it's gonna be bad. And then Kyron Williams, if he stays hot, and the Rams defense has been pretty decent. I don't think this is going to be a fun game to watch, and it's unfortunate because when you look at the schedule to start the season, you kind of circle this one as oh yeah, we need that, and Now it's gonna wah.
Yep, you're done.
Yeah.
This is an absolute beatdown. If the Rams had won and they were
Yeah.
fat and happy off the Niners last week, but they're also on extra rest too. I'm sorry. This is a GG.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
way.
I also think this next game, this next game is equally as uninteresting as the Rams Ravens, Cardinals Colts. Colts favored by 7, 47.5 over under. I'm guessing we both have another. Yeah, Rams got it. Colts 28-17. I've got it 24-13. If Kyler ends up not playing, I'm gonna probably drop that 13 lower. Maybe put that 24 a little bit higher. The Cardinals don't give me warm fuzzies right now. The Colts are. We just talked about them flirting with Super Bowl aspirations. I don't think there's much to really say about this game. I don't think the Cardinals should really have any hope, or can you find any reasons for hope or optimism?
If they had looked like, good teams beat the shit out of bad teams, right? If they had done what they were supposed to do to the Titans and finished the job, if they were up 28-6, if DeMarcado doesn't fumble and all that fun stuff, right? If they had finished the job, then you got reasons for optimism. They blew that game.
Yeah.
No way. The Colts are going to steamroll them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I got.
I want to move on to the next game. The next game is top 3 interesting game of the week for a whole host of reasons.
Oh yes, it's my turn. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were going to take it. Anyway, sorry. We have the Seattle Seahawks traveling across the country to face the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Seahawks are favored by 1.5. Actually, I'm going to adjust this line because this very interesting. The Seahawks were favored by 1.5 points. Now the Jags are favored by 1.5 points, and that will not be the last time that comes up. And the over/under is 46. And Kurtis is taking the Seattle Seahawks to beat the Jags 30-24. Taking the Jags 27-24. I think it's a pretty interesting game against two teams who really feel good, I think, about their playoff chances, maybe even their division chances in both cases. And I'm just going with the home team on this one. The Jags should believe after they just had that, heroic win over the Kansas City Chiefs. Seattle, I shouldn't say I'm not sold on them. I'm much more sold on them than I was at the very beginning of the season. But this feels like a tough spot for them against a 4-1 Jags team. So I'm just giving the edge to the home team. I think it'll be a close game. We want to explain your well, you don't really have to justify it that hard, but explain your Seattle pick, sir.
So my Seattle pick was coming from I just think they have looked a little bit more polished than the Jaguars. The Jaguars have relied on some goofy shit, if you will. I mean, we just spent a few minutes earlier in the episode talking about how the Chiefs win was a lot of goofy shenanigans going on. And I pulled up, so I'm on ESPN. I pulled up their schedule to kind of verify that. So their 2 losses, they lost to the 49ers in week 1. Makes sense. Division game. They won a close one against the Cardinals, but we've already discussed division games. A lot of close games for no reason. And then they lost a close one to our Lord and Savior Baker Mayfield. But what got me shaking my head is there is a little blurb here off to the side, and it's from 3 hours ago talking about all of the injuries the Seahawks are dealing with. It's a pretty healthy list. It's long.
Get that.
A lot of did not participates on there. That doesn't give me warm fuzzies. Makes me feel a little uneasy about my Seahawks take here. But I just said the same thing last week against the Buccaneers. So fuck it, we ride. Seahawks taking the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Take the better team, but I would say there's a legitimate path for this to be a close game. This will not.
I think it'll be a good game regardless.
That will not be the last time that statement is said about this game. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This is coming.
Well, with that, we move on to Dallas traveling to Charlotte to take on the Carolina Panthers. Dallas is favored by 3 points over under 49.5, which is kind of crazy. We both have Dallas winning 27-23 for Ren, 24-20 for myself. I'm gonna be honest. When I saw that three, that Dallas was only favored by three, I felt way too little. I was like, yo. And now that I'm looking at my 24-20, how dare I? We like like Dak Prescott, bro, to George Pickens. Those two are about to feast.
Back-to-back road games, and the Panthers have more of a pulse than the Jets. But I tend to agree that this Cowboys team should roll in this game. Three feels scary to me. You play it if you want to. If it was 2.5, I'm taking the Cowboys, but I could definitely see this being I could definitely see this being Dallas by a field goal and like inexplicably being the better team, but like not actually winning or sorry, not actually crushing them. Excuse me.
The thing that gives me pause is the Panthers apparently found a running game with none other than Rico Dowdle himself, who was, if we recall, a Dallas Cowboy last year.
Revenge game.
If he runs like that again,
that's gonna be tough for them.
The Cowboys will maybe lose. I don't want to say probably, but they might lose. I mean, the -3 isn't weird enough for me to play it, but it just kind of made me raise an eyebrow. I'm not going to, but I was just like, I don't know. It felt a little disrespectful.
I think the number is right. If it was in Dallas, I'd be projecting them to win by 10. But it just doesn't. Something about it is throwing my alarm bells just a little bit. Like that the Panthers have a chance to make this a really close game. And they still believe. I mean, the season is far from over for all of these like really bad teams. Unless you're the Jets, then it's probably over. But
well, I mean, in that division in particular, I mean, that thing's wide open. I mean, we were just talking about the Saints at 1-4, but you know, Panthers 2-3, Falcons 2-2 coming off the bye. There's a path. Yeah, they're not going to take over the Buccaneers, which I think they would need to do to sneak into the playoffs.
Probably,
but
there's plenty of. I mean, you're far from out of it at 2-3. So you know, they can.
Yeah.
They will show. I think they will show up to this game. I think Dallas is better though. So I'll be taking the Cowboys for sure, but I don't know if I can lay 3. The next game is.
Let's just skip this one.
We might have to. Moving on. No, we're gonna read the scores out and we're gonna give no analysis. It is, ladies and gentlemen, the Ass Bowl. The Tennessee Titans are traveling to Vegas to face the Raiders. The Raiders are favored by 4.5. Let me say that again. The Raiders are favored by any team, or the Raiders are favored over a team by 4.5 points. I don't care if it's the Titans. Let's just talk about that for a second. The Raiders are favored by 4.5 points. The over/under is 41.5. And we each have failure at its finest. I've got a 24-23 Raiders victory. Kurtis has a 21-20 Titans victory. This game is just garbage. 10-foot pole. I want to take the Titans getting 4.5 points simply because I expect hyper failure in this game, and it's anybody's game. But
yeah, I have no idea what to make of this game. The Ass Bowl is couldn't be in a more appropriate name. I honestly don't have a good read on what to even expect. That's why I kept it close, and I picked the Titans because you're coming off a win. I don't know. I don't have a fucking good reason, to be honest with you.
The Raiders look really bad.
Yeah, the Titans also look really bad.
That is true. They do. Maybe they believe now.
San Francisco's travel.
Go ahead. That's it.
San Francisco's traveling to Tampa Bay. Take on the Buccaneers. Take on the GOAT. The GOAT's favored by 3 points. Over under 47.5. And we're both taking the GOAT. 34-24 for Ren. 31-24 for myself.
He's the GOAT.
And is this going to be a closer game than that?
What's that?
Is this going to be a closer game than that? You got the Buccaneers by 10. That's
I like the Buccaneers by 10.
The Niners just beat the Rams with nobody on that
division
team.
Game.
With Mac Jones. With Mac Jones playing beat up.
The stands were probably 3/4 49ers fans. And
I hear you.
Baker, we're not picking against Baker.
I'm not picking against Baker. I'm just asking, is it going to be competitive? Is it going to be more competitive than a 10-point spread?
Um,
I would have to imagine.
probably yes.
Yeah.
But there's a path for the Bucks to just shred them, like to finally expose them for the injuries that they have. The Rams might have been sleepwalking in that game, expecting that we don't have to
They
try.
might have been. Yeah.
Kendrick
Yeah.
Bourne
I think it'll be
out of nowhere
interesting.
with 140 yards. And
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I think this will be more interesting on the 49ers side. I would love to see them do it again, if you will. You know, they obviously beat the Rams, a competitive team. Let's see it out of the division.
I agree.
Let's see what y'all are talking about outside of the division.
And outside of I would say on the road. Technically, the last one was on the road. Outside your state. let's try that for starters. Yeah, I don't know if I can play the Bucks unless it goes down to -2.5. But they should. They're the better team on paper. But I said that last week. I know. Yeah. I gotta let this regress. I gotta let this regress back to the mean and say that was an outlier game. The 49ers were in a get up spot, like in a division game. Anyway, that's where I'm at with this. But
yeah,
it's a tough one. In speaking of games that are not hard to pick, on the other hand, that's what I'm trying to say. The Bengals are traveling to Lambeau with their new quarterback, Goat Flacco, in his first game to face the Green Bay Packers, who are fresh off their bye. Green Bay Packers are favored by 14 points. Over under is 44.5, and we have a beatdown by the Green Bay Packers. I cannot play -14, but the Bengals are ass, and the Packers are coming off the bye. They are far superior. Every team's been killing this team. Joe Flacco is not a huge upgrade over Jake Browning, considering the issues that they have with their line and considering the issues that they have with their defense. The Packers are going to kill them.
Yeah, Packers coming off a bye with that defense. What's this? Micah Parsons against that offensive line.
Bye-bye.
Yikes.
And the Packers may still have a foul taste in their mouth after not beating Dallas.
Yeah. I don't expect this one to be very pretty at all. For the Bengals. This feels to me like another one of those games. I don't think there's much to say. I mean, it'll be curious to see what Flacco does because I'm pretty sure he's starting this week. That's kind of crazy. Throwing him in against his defense on a 3 days notice or whatever, 4 days.
Like, how can you take the Packers at 14? I mean, the Bills were favored by, what were they favored by? 16.5 points against the Saints, and you can't do that, right? Like, I don't know. I won't. No. I refuse.
Game of the week, Sunday Night Football. Detroit traveling to Kansas City, take on the Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 2.5 points. I'm gonna say that one more time. The 2 and 3. The 2 and 3 Chiefs are favored by 2.5 points. Over under 51.5. Neither one of us had it ran 31-23. I've got a 34-24.
This is.
Let me make sure that's still a thing. What's going on right now?
This is the worst spread I've seen this year.
I'm perplexed. Where is this at? The Chiefs are favored by 2.5 points. Let me just go ahead and play that money line right now. Let me put this bet real quick.
Yeah, no,
what's going on?
Intermission.
Bro? How much am I putting on this? $20, $30, like the mortgage. What are we putting on this right now?
One mortgage payment would be good. Don't put the whole house on it, but put a mortgage payment worth on it. Deposit more money.
What the fuck are we talking about right now?
This is insane to me. This is insane to me.
Is somebody injured? What's going on?
I literally Googled Jared Goff to see if an injury popped up on the stories.
Well, what about St. Brown? Is he hurt? What's going on?
I have him against you.
You're 4-1 Lions. Yeah.
Sorry, dude, but you're done.
Oh, let's see. Oh, the quarterback is not as bad. Terrion Arnold. Yeah, I forgot about him. But yeah,
go get back over there. get back over onto DraftKings. We'll take a brief intermission here while Kurtis makes some money.
Nah, I'm good.
This
I threw 100 on that, bro. I had to swing for the fence on that.
You should. This is absolutely absurd to me that the Chiefs should be favored in a game. I mean, if they're playing a bad team, sure. This is not a bad team. This is a top team in the NFL.
This is the Detroit fucking Lions, bro.
Yes.
Which let's just pause for a second. We've been football fans for a very long time. Let's just pause to appreciate
the respect
where we've come with the Detroit Lions.
Incredible.
And we're talking about them in this manner.
Absolutely incredible.
Against one of the best quarterbacks to ever grace a game of football, and we're talking about the Detroit Lions need to stop being disrespected like that. Resume conversation. What the fuck?
This is crazy. Nope, doesn't make any sense. I don't know what else can we let's try to build a case for the Chiefs. They lost a close game on the road. They're coming home and they know that there's a path with the Chargers struggling to win the division. This is an opportunity for them to get up and show who they are. And Travis Kelce is old, but he's still got it when he wants it, and they have some good skill players at the positions. Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Jared Goff, in my opinion. It's not like
the Lions are about to beat the shit out of the Chiefs.
Yes, they are.
That's the only thing that is running through my head right now. Like that, I think it's going to be like a state. Like this feels like a classic spot for Dan Campbell to have a nice little statement. Jared Goff throwing for like 4 touchdowns or something crazy like that. Jahmyr Gibbs going for another 2. I'm just confused. I got a handful of people I'm gonna be texting as soon as we get off this episode to understand what's going on here. What am I missing? Do I need to cash out this bet I just made?
All I see is fire away. That's all I see. This one was like, you're kidding, right? But this is also why we make our picks ahead of time before we like taint ourselves with the Lion, because you're just like, okay, yeah, the Lions are going to win the game, and then you're like, wait, what? Anyway, it's absolutely crazy. I could spend the next 30 minutes saying that this doesn't make any sense, and it very much doesn't. So let's go ahead and move on to another doubleheader on Monday Night Football. These ones are at the dumb times again, which makes me very upset. The Buffalo Bills are traveling to Atlanta to face the Falcons. The Bills are favored by 4.5 points on the road. Over-under is 49.5. We're both taking the Buffalo Bills. I've got it much closer. I'm not entirely sure why I do have it closer. I'm nervous.
Explain that to me. Make that make sense.
The Panthers beat the crap out of the Falcons. They blanked them. I don't think the Falcons are that bad. The Bills have a bad taste in their mouth after the Monday night game, but they're on a shorter week on the road, whereas the Falcons have the bye. They're coming off of the bye. So there's a large rest disparity in this game, and the Falcons need to right the ship quickly. They will show up for this game. They're going to lose, but they show up for it. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I hear you. And I think Darnell Mooney might be coming back. I don't really know if it matters. It's Josh Allen, bro. That offense is solid. Outside of division games, I know. They put up? Yeah, I can't.
To me, like the Falcons plus 4.5 feels more like the right side, and I know that's a wild statement, but they should win the game. The Bills should absolutely win the game. I think that it's a close, potentially a little ugly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about it. Well, I guess we'll see. I mean, I would have been a little bit more willing to accept that if we were talking about the Patriots last week, but against the Falcons, I don't know, bro. Like the Falcons have not really been convincing to me in any form or fashion.
They've been pretty inconsistent. I just think this is a spot that they feel like they've got to get up for, but after the bye.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and I guess looking at the games they won, I mean they kind of handed it to the Commanders. Definitely handed it to the Vikings, which I actually forgot about that, to be honest with you.
But then they took
a 30-0 schmickety schmacking by the Panthers. Yeah. So yeah, which Falcons team are we getting? I guess, and I guess I am going to be on this side or take the side of it's probably not going to be a great one against a Super Bowl contending Bills team.
That's fair. It's
But,
a lot of points to lay on the road, non-conference, but
yeah.
Anyway, it's tricky.
Yeah. Well,
Interesting game.
Let's go ahead and
Interesting
wrap
game
this
to wrap
up.
things up here.
Yeah, I agree. Chicago traveling to our nation's capital to take on the Commanders. Commanders favored by 4.5. Over under of 50.5. I've got the Commanders winning 24-21. Ren, you've got the Bears winning 27-24. Feels like a coin flip game to me, to be honest with you. So I'm not mad at to go in. I won't discourage anybody from going in either direction, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
The number feels right here to me. The one reason that I want to play Chicago is very simple. Hail Mary revenge game. Last year the Bears lost to the Commanders on a Hail Mary, and they've been hearing about that since. The whole guys celebrating, talking to the crowd right before the ball is snapped. Like they're not gonna fall flat in this game. The Bears are getting up for this game.
I tend to agree. I don't necessarily prescribe to narrative kind of analysis too often, but I think there's probably a little bit of that. It's nice bulletin board material. The Bears have looked competent. The Commanders got a little bit of injuries to contend with. I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if the Bears won this one. Just going with the Commanders because I like their quarterback better. You know, Jaden Daniels I think has shown a lot more than Caleb Williams up to this point. And that's pretty much the only reason I'm giving the edge to the Commanders is the quarterback chip right there.
It's a fair reason. I also think it's interesting that for back-to-back years, we're respecting the number 2 pick more than the number 1 pick, which is kind of funny. Although now at this point, yes, are you respecting C.J. Stroud more or less than Bryce Young after the first couple games? It's hard to kind of know in year 3, but just saying. Yeah. We were definitely on the C.J. Stroud hype train much more than Bryce Young for a long time there. So
yeah,
just an interesting little tidbit. So. We've got some good bets here. I know I shouldn't say this, but I'm pretty excited about what we've got here.
You want to kick us off, or you want the where are we going? What are we thinking?
I'm here for this one. I'm kicking us off. The Scholar plays are usually much less ridiculous and wild, so we'll start off here. I should have added Lions money line to this, whatever it is. However, the Scholar has another 3-leg teaser this week. Last week, I did not feel very good about my teaser legs, and I went 0-3 on the teaser legs I gave out during the show. I apologize to all of you. This week, I feel significant, almost can't be overstated how much better I feel about these legs this week. Broncos minus 1.5 in London against the Jets. Jets are bad. Broncos are not bad. Broncos will win. I feel good about that. Lions plus 8.5. This should be illegal for me to be getting Lions plus 8.5 against the Chiefs this year. It should be illegal. It's not. Lions plus 8.5 because they should be favored in this game. Last one, yep. And I already teased at this. Teased. The line movement. When I first saw the Seahawks and Jaguars game, the Seahawks were favored by 1.5 points on the road. I took the Jaguars all the way up to plus 7.5. Now the Jags are actually favored by 1.5 points, going to show that this game could very much go either way. This game should be close, and I have the Jaguars all the way up to losing within a touchdown or winning the game. I feel very good about that as well. So those are my 3 legs, and I look for there won't be an episode next week potentially, but I look forward to victory, or I'm sincerely hope that I get a victory lap on these because I feel way too good about them.
I would be shocked if any of these legs missed. Especially the Lions plus 8.5. Well, yeah, I'll knock on some wood for you too. That. I'm going back to the well with the Browns.
Yes,
Browns money line. Browns money line. We're gonna keep playing until that shit hits. The Oracle has not hit yet. This is the week. Browns money line. And last week, the Browns would have been the reason I lost. Fucking goofies. Dolphins money line. I don't see how the Chargers are favored in this game. I think this is probably the most risky of all the legs that I guess aside from the Browns.
Yeah, the Oracle lives on risk, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so they're all pretty wild plays, but yeah, Dolphins money line, Browns money line, and then we touched on the plus 14 for the Bengals. Can't bet against that. I feel like that's kind of an auto bet in my humble opinion. I probably would just play all of these legs individually. I don't think this is a very wise parlay to make. I, as the Oracle, don't say that very often. Yeah. But if you're feeling froggy, if you're feeling a little risque, you know what I'm saying? Just throw them all in a nice little 3-legger. Nothing crazy. A little dollar on there, $5. See what happens.
I like all of these. Just to be totally fair. I think you're getting value. They're probably not all going to hit, but I think you're getting value relative to what they're worth, or what the odds that they're giving you.
Yeah, I agree. Which is why they stuck out to me. But those Browns, man, they got to come through for me.
They are gonna.
They
have a legitimate chance to come through in this game. All right, we got a lot of good bets here. I'm gonna list off all the ones that I think all the ones that we're talking about playing here. Browns plus 5.5.
Oh yeah, but before you do
Please.
that, what I forgot that I wanted to mention, this is another week where we have a lot of agreement. That means you need to bet the opposite of everything we just fucking said.
Probably.
Every single one of them. And I would bet $1 that you make some money off of that.
You should parlay. You should parlay all the opposites. Just $1 on all the opposites. See what happens. Just
I might try that out. See what happens.
The O for a week. Browns plus 5.5. Dolphins plus 4.5. Are we playing the Rams minus 7.5? I think so. Colts minus 7. The we're not going to play the Cowboys and Panthers. Vegas plus 4, or sorry, Tennessee plus 4.5 against the Titans. Tampa minus 3 against the 49ers. The Bengals, we can't play that one either. And then the Detroit Lions plus 2.5 against the Chiefs, which again should be illegal.
Yeah.
Is that not free money?
Well,
come on.
I think so. So I did pose a question in one of my group chats, and my man let me know that his reasoning for the Chiefs being favored, that they're the home team. Sure, I guess, but it's an outdoor game, which Goff historically for outdoor games, not great.
That's fair.
Which does give me a little bit of pause. Is Soldier Field an outdoor stadium,
yes.
Or is that indoors?
Soldier Field is outdoors.
They beat the shit out of the Bears in week 2, 52-21. Yep. And I believe that was on the back of a 5-touchdown game from Jared Goff.
The Chiefs are not winning this game. There's just no way.
I don't think so.
Can't do it. All right. Well,
with that,
good luck to all of you this week. Better luck to us. For our next trick, tune in next week where we may or may not have an episode because I'm probably going to be a father of 2. But we will continue to keep you all updated. And feel free to send us an email, footballclownsanonymous@gmail.com. Let us know if you'd like access to our sheet. You can follow along as we go. For Kurtis Pinkney, I am Ren Smith, the Scholar. Thank you all for being a part of Football Clowns Anonymous. We hope to see you again at our circus sometime soon.